Natasha and thank you so much for joining me today. Well, I have another video on there's always more than one way. Let me know if you would like me to make this a series regular where I kind of show one card and then alternative ways to do the same thing but using different products. So yeah, similar but different. So today we are going to start off. I have two card bases, so I'm going to start off with a darker card base. This is the Nautical colour from Hero Arts, and I am going to take some masking magic. This is from Gina K, and it truly is magic paper because this masking does not let anything bleed through. It is fantastic. I'm going to take a circle die from the Hero Arts Infinity dies. It doesn't matter what brand you have, stacking dies are fabulous and well worth it. And I have taken, made my masking magic piece of paper the same as my card front. So in my case, it is 4 1/4 by 5.5 inches. That means I just have to line up the die on the front where I want it, and that is exactly the place it's going to lie on the card front as well. So I take off one side of the release paper, and then I hold that sticky side up whilst I place down the side that's already still got the release paper on it, so I can move it around easily. Once I've got it in place, I push down the sticky side, and everything is lined up exactly where I need it to be. I do give this a really good push down around the circle, sort of where I don't want anything to seep underneath, and we are good to go. Now for the first version here, you could use any kind of texture paste. I do like the light and fluffy modelling paste from the Crafter's Workshop. I also use the Ranger Opaque Matte Texture Paste. These are probably my two most favourites that I use. This one here truly is light and fluffy. Now this comes in a smaller jar and a larger jar, and I honestly think I wanted the larger jar, but they haven't had it in stock for so long, so I got the smaller one, and that's fine. Whilst I was doing this, I was also thinking that the Simon Hurley Luna paste, that gorgeous dark blue, would look stunning as well, but I really want this to kind of pop off the page. So I'm going to use a stencil, of course, any stencil. I was sort of going with delicately, florally, flowery, sort of something along those lines, swirly whirly. So I just had a look through my stash and I ended up going with this Brocade from LDRS. This is not a super old stencil, but I'm not sure if it's still available. But look at that beautiful contrast. The white paste. Of course, you could absolutely colour it. You could even just add some sparkles or some glitter in there. I mean, all good things. So then once this is dry, I've come back and I can peel this off. Look at those crisp edges. Everything is looking really good. I love this kind of card making. A nice thin layer of the paste meant that it would dry really quickly. Now I wanted butterflies on the front, and surprisingly I don't have many butterflies. I wanted a couple of dies, different sizes, but they needed to be able to fit on my card front, and I didn't really have that. Now I do have these Stampendous butterfly dies. I'm pretty sure these aren't available anymore because these are old, really old, but I'm pretty sure they're not available. But, you know, butterfly dies are a dime a dozen. There's always lots of different versions out there. I have die cut this one in some vellum, and then I have these old stamps. I tell you, these are old. This is one of the first stamp sets I purchased. I'm going to stamp this down on some Versamark sticky embossing ink. I am going to remember to put a little bit of anti-static powder down first, and then I'm going to heat emboss on this vellum. Now this vellum is the Lawn Fawn vellum, and I like this one because you are able to heat emboss. Not all vellums will handle the heat. Some of them you will just crinkle them up because they're plastic. They will just crinkle if they are not heat resistant. So that is why I love the Lawn Fawn one. It does everything for me. I can dry emboss it running through embossing machines with embossing folders. I can heat emboss with it. I can do all sorts, which is something that you can't do with all vellums. So this is the Lawn Fawn one. It's a little bit heavier and I absolutely love it. It's the only one I have in my stash. I only want one product that does everything, and this is the one for me. Now I did actually want 2 dies, but I didn't have 2 dies, so a stamp and a die will have to work. These are obviously not the same image, but I promise you they're going to layer up just fine. Now I would say in my card making that I aim for my cards to sort of take a quick or small amount of time to a medium amount of time. Not often do I invest hours and hours in a card. I just don't have that time to sit down and kind of put that into it, and I have to clean up after every session, so it means that I can't sort of just leave everything out and come back to it. So these cards are very simple. We're not finished yet, I promise, but I think they look absolutely stunning. Now, we're going to do with finishing touches here a couple of bits and pieces. These are just some matte enamel dots. Of course, you can add anything. You can add gems, enamel dots, you can add Nouveau drops, all those good things to go up the center. And I'm just going with a little bit of light pink for a tiny little bit of color on this navy cardstock. And then I did want a little sentiment that was going to run through the middle, and this says feel better soon. This one is from the All Occasions, I think, by Paper Rose. Such a good sentiment set. It's only like $4 or so US for the set off scrapbook.com, and I have used these for months and months and months, and there are just endless. It is absolutely endless. Such good value for the sentiments. So anyhow, there's every sentiment under the sun. I know I've talked about them lots. I've used them in tens and tens and tens and tens and tens of videos. I don't know, maybe 100 at this point. But anyway, that is card number 1 done and dusted. Now, let me tell you the next product here I'm going to show you, because we're moving on to card number 2, an alternative way to go about this. When I saw these are the Hero transfers. I guess there are 5 sheets in here, and they are just absolutely right up my alley. These are rub-ons, and there's obviously 5. I'll show you them because they're all pretty different, but I just love these, and I'm going to show you something that I really love about these in particular. Now, I know I went through them fast, but there's sort of music notes, there's script, there's maps, there's smaller like newspaper print, all good things. So many, but I'm going to choose this kind of scripty one here. I'm going to take the same circle dies as I did before. I'm going to take the same size circle as I did before. To waste the smallest amount possible, I'm going to cut around this with my Cutter Bee scissors. But actually, even the scraps that came out of this, keep those, because these would just go good to fill in random spaces on sort of a background. So don't even get rid of those, but you peel it from the backing, and then I'm going to pop it down on my Kraft base this time, just because, you know, something different. And I'm going to use, they give you a popsicle stick, you can use anything to give it a good rub down, and then I peel off from one side in case you missed anything. But what I love most about these is there's no shine at all. And I think this probably just represents a really good quality, but you can see there when I'm turning it into the light, there's just no shine or sheen from the words. There is a slight texture, which I absolutely love. These were fun. I have got these coming up in a lot of videos because I was excited to get my hands on these. Now I'm going to change it up from butterflies and go to hearts, because I know you probably all have butterflies, but you probably all have hearts as well. So first of all, I can show you the things that I do as well that I don't always like, and that sometimes I get the privilege of being able to cut from the video that you can't see, but also I think it's really good to see that sometimes I do things as well when as soon as I got this out of the embossing folder, I was like, nope, that's not the pattern. That's not what I was after. And so I'm going to change it up, moving to this very simple dots pattern. This is a DRS embossing folder. I'm sure it's an old one, but this is going to work well. I did cut some of the hearts from the same Lawn Fawn vellum as I did before, and that is much better. That's much more what I was after, and that's okay. So once I have got my hearts ready to go, I'm going to start popping everything together. Now I love the vellum because it sort of doesn't take away from the script behind it. You can still see that the script is the whole circle. I'm going to layer up some of these hearts. You could definitely emboss all of them. They could all be different. You could do some heat embossing on the hearts if you didn't have the embossing folders. You can, with vellum, you can actually use a mold, like clay molding soft ball, and you can do drawing onto like a piece of foam or something, and you'll be able to mark the vellum that way, and that looks stunning as well. Now I'm just putting on some double-sided tape, so I've got a strip vertical for the last one, and then I'm able to go horizontal because I know I'm going to have a sentiment that will pop through the middle here. But the idea behind these cards, and really behind my channel, is that there is just always more than one way to do things. If you don't have what somebody is showing, there's always a fantastic alternative. And a really good place to look is over on my Facebook group. It's called Come Crafting with Natasha. And often people will do exactly that. They will take my ideas and just take little bits of them, take bits here and there and make it their own, and then post the photos so that you can see them and share them with our group. We have an amazing, supportive community. It has grown so much and I'm so grateful for it. But just the ideas that come out of there is fabulous. And it's really amazing to see where other people's brains sort of take them, because obviously this is just my version and you can take this and turn it completely on its head. So it's so exciting to see. I will leave a link to that, or you can just search it on Facebook. It's called Come Crafting with Natasha, and we will be able to see you there. I can talk to you, chat to you there. You can tag me if you have questions or anything like that, so that's a good place for that. But other than that, I also have a link down below to the Buy Me a Coffee website in case you would like to support my channel for the videos that I produce. I have 3 that come out every week as an absolute minimum. Sometimes there's bonus videos, I do shorts videos, just whatever I can fit in, depending on whether it's, school time or school holidays, or I have little helpers beside me. But I couldn't resist for this card putting on this little twine bow, and I actually think it finishes it off beautifully. It just goes with the Kraft cardstock. So I just took apart some burlap ribbon and I turned it into a little bow. I think these cards are stunning. Anyhow, thank you so much for joining me. I truly do appreciate it. As usual, all of the products will be linked in the description box down below, but I'm very positive that you have most of these in your stash and you'll be able to do something along the same lines. As I said at the beginning, let me know if you'd like me to make a playlist or if you'd like this to be a regular series of There's Always More Than One Way. But other than that, thank you so much for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thanks, bye.